Hi everyone, I'm Amanda. Welcome to my channel. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about Poshmark. So for the past 3 weeks, I've tried listing things on Poshmark. And I'm sure a bunch of people can kind of relate to this. Being in your own home, you realize there's a lot of things that you don't want. We've all been pretty bored, I think. So for me, I started going through my closet and kind of organizing and figuring out the things that I did like and I didn't like. And I feel like my style is changing a little bit, and a lot of the clothes that I had don't really fit my style anymore. So I decided there's obviously a couple options I could do, but one of them was to try Poshmark and to see if it was worth it. So I'm going to kind of take you through the process that I did to list things on Poshmark, and then I'm going to talk about what I like about Poshmark, what I don't like about Poshmark, and just some other kind of points I think that are important to make before maybe you start your closet on Poshmark or list things on Poshmark or even buy things on Poshmark. I think this might be helpful for any of those situations. So make sure to subscribe to my channel and like this video, and we'll go ahead and get started. Also note the new setup. Oh, tell me if you like this more so than me like sitting on my couch. I just finally hung this shelf, and I feel like it's important for me to like do something in front of it and kind of show it off a little bit. So just a note, but thought I'd mention it. So I had a ton of things that I wanted to list. I had like 117 items, and I took a really long time taking pictures of everything. You could see like half of the piles basically sitting there. And this was pretty tedious, I would say, but I wanted to make sure I got pictures of like if something had a hole or something had a stain, and I wanted to make sure people could really see what things looked like. And I didn't end up taking pictures of anything on my body because a lot of my items weren't actually my size. So it just didn't seem like it would make a big difference for people to see something that was like a size 14 on me that clearly didn't fit. So I ended up just taking pictures like this of every item. And then I went ahead and I made a document. I'm a nerd and I know this about myself, and I just need to have things like this written out, and Excel docs for me are super easy to then just implement information. So I just wrote out everything that I had and kind of like descriptions about it, the size, the brand, everything like that, just so it'd be easier for me when I actually did upload everything. You obviously don't have to do this. This is just something that I thought would help myself, but if you're like me and you like kind of all of this pre-planning, I think something like this could be really helpful. Okay, and the last thing that I did was I went through Poshmark for a lot of the items, and I tried to see what other people were charging for it so that I could be kind of in that same area, like price range. And I think this was helpful, but again, I had 117 items, and it was just way too much to do all of them. Some of the items were more similar, so like I didn't feel like I had to constantly keep looking things up. I think once I got a pretty good idea of like a brand, then I kind of could figure out how much you could charge for it, and then things that I wasn't quite sure about, I did a little bit more research for. So this was my first sale, and they suggest that you like wrap it in nice wrapping paper and write a thank you note. So I've done that for every sale so far. Okay, so let's start with the things that I like about Poshmark. So I'm going to start off by saying it is really easy to like upload things to Poshmark, although I'll make a note, when I first took all my pictures, I obviously used my iPhone because that just made the most sense to me. And when I tried to upload everything on my computer, there was a weird like photo issue, and I don't even remember what it's called, but it basically like Poshmark, when you try and upload online, only accepts like JPEGs and PNGs or whatever, and that's not what the iPhone just naturally takes, so I had to like convert everything to that, which took an exorbitant amount of time to figure out. But if you upload things to the app, then it'll just take it right from your iPhone. I don't think it really matters like what like type of photo it is or whatever. Like, it's much easier to just upload things right from your phone to the app, I would say. So, like, at first I did it on my computer, and that was fine, and I think it was still pretty easy to upload minus the one hiccup, but I would definitely suggest, like, if you are thinking about starting a Poshmark closet, or if you have one and haven't done this already, definitely download the app. The app is super easy to use, and it'll send you push notifications. You can get push notifications for, like, if people like something, if people share something, whatever. So highly, highly suggest getting the app, and the app is super easy to use. And then you can just take a picture on your iPhone or your smartphone and then just upload it straight to Poshmark. So it kind of takes out a couple extra steps that I did the first time. Their app is super easy, and it helps me, like, stay up to date and check it more regularly too. So definitely like that. Then another thing I really like is when you're uploading, like, to Poshmark. So, like, say I'm putting up, like, a dress and I want to list it at $20. It'll show me exactly how much money I'll earn from that sale if it sells for $20. So it's really easy to kind of say, like, oh yeah, that's worth it to list it at $20 so that I earn X amount of dollars. I really like that feature, that it's constantly there, because I was, like, going to list things and then I was like, well, that's not really enough to make it worth, like, listing it for me, and I just upped my price a little bit. So definitely liked that a lot. The last thing that I really like about Poshmark is it was super easy to transfer the money to my bank account. It took, like, maybe 2 minutes to just input my bank account information, and then it takes, like, 2 to 3 days to transfer. So I have made a couple sales on Poshmark, and I've just been able to transfer those super easy to my bank account, and there was no, like, transaction fee for that, which was nice. You can also just keep it on Poshmark if you do shop a lot, and then just use that to buy other things on Poshmark. So it gives you that option, and I think that that's nice. I'm probably always just going to transfer it to my bank account, but I don't think that it's necessary, and I just don't shop that much on Poshmark that I think that it's worth it to keep the money there, but that's an option if you want to do that. So the things that I didn't love about Poshmark, and still, like, don't really love about Poshmark, especially now that I'm, like, trying to sell more and, like, getting more invested into it. The first I'll say is, I think most people expect you to drop your prices to a certain extent. So Poshmark does this thing where if you like something, the seller can send a private discount to you. And I think a lot of times what people do is they like an item and then wait for the Poshmark seller to lower the price for them, which is fine, because I think that that happens a lot, and if you're a smart shopper, then that's what you're going to do. But the thing I don't like as a seller is when I offer a private discount to someone who has liked an item, I have to lower it by at least 10%, which is fine. But then I also have to offer a shipping discount, and they only offer 2 variations on the shipping discount. So immediately, your earnings on an item, as soon as you try and offer a private discount, are just slashed, like, significantly. Even if you just do the 10% and the smallest discount, you're instantly losing a ton of earning potential. And Poshmark has made it so that people just wait for these private discounts, pretty much, and then you can't, like, actually offer the discount you want. So, like, for example, someone wanted to buy a yellow tank top that I had listed, and I think I listed it for, like, $10 or $8, and they asked just to lower the shipping cost for them, but I can't do that. I have to offer them 10% less plus less shipping. And to me, that doesn't make a lot of sense, because I understood, right, if their shipping, this is another thing that I don't love, is really high, right? Naturally, the shipping, I think, is like $7.11. And so I understood as someone, like, as that buyer, that they wanted to purchase something that wasn't that expensive, and they were almost going to pay double in shipping. And they wanted to see if I could help them out with the shipping cost. And I would be totally for that if I could have just offered discounted shipping. Because then, like, I would still earn a decent amount of money, but I also then had to offer 10% on top of that. So to me, I wish that they didn't force you into both things. I wish that they let you pick one or the other. And if you wanted to do both, you could do both, right? But I think what they should do so that people don't get stuck in that situation that I was in, basically, is either let you lower the cost, and they can still put the, like, it has to be by 10% or whatever, and let you solely just lower shipping costs. Because in that case, that's what I would have done, right? I would have just lowered how much shipping costs for the woman, and I would have earned more money. But instead, I only ended up making, like, I think basically $2 on the shirt. And, like, that at that point wasn't super worth it for me. I was already going to ship things, so, like, it was fine. But I think that's one of my biggest qualms with ship, like, on Poshmark. And I think other sites don't have those same rules. So I think what I'm going to do moving forward, so if you're interested in this, make sure to subscribe to my channel, is try listing on other sites and kind of comparing them to Poshmark and seeing what I like more. And seeing, like, kind of that flexibility that comes with it that Poshmark isn't really giving me. So I'll say, like, those are the first two things I don't love, is the weird discount rules and how high the shipping just naturally is. I understand it, but I think it's a deterrent to a lot of people. So the other thing, though, that I really don't like is their, like, feed. So I watched a video that I'll link below by another YouTuber who makes a lot of money selling on Poshmark, and she basically explained that the feed isn't where you make any sales, and all of your sales are going to come from people, like, using the search method. And the search method seems like it's, like, equal among sellers. Like, it's basically just whatever's listed the most recently comes up first, just naturally. And I think that that's great. But, like, they have this feed, and it doesn't really do anything. It's not well organized. It's kind of random. And it just doesn't make a lot of sense. And I don't think a lot of people spend a lot of time on their feed looking for stuff. Like, I know when I go on Poshmark, I don't. And so then, basically, like, the only time it matters to share your, like, that your items are being shared is when you, the seller, is sharing your own items with your followers. But it doesn't really matter when someone else shares your items. And so, like, it just doesn't make a ton of sense to me. And there could be a way, like, the more an item is shared, it should also be more likely to be seen, because then, to me, that seems like it's a better item. The same thing with, like, the amount of followers that you have doesn't really seem to matter, except when you reshare items, or, like, so that those people just always go to your closet. But I just think, like, some of their algorithm doesn't make a ton of sense to me, and it just seems like a lot of effort is kind of futile. But that's what I'll say, like, I definitely don't like about Poshmark. Okay, so some other notes that I want to make, and these aren't necessarily, like, criticisms or anything else, but just, like, observations I've had through this process. So the first is, I would research before you actually just go and do it. I did a little bit of research before I posted everything, but definitely, like, not as much as I should have. And there's a ton of people out there who have, like, posted videos and articles and stuff that you can look at and see, like, how everything works and how you should do stuff. So when I first posted everything, I was getting a ton of follows and shares and likes, and I didn't really know what to do with any of that information, and no one was purchasing anything. And then I got one, like, offer on one of my items that I counter offered, and then they declined. And then my first sale was someone offered a price, like a new price on something. I counter offered with a slightly higher price, and they accepted that. But most of my sales so far have actually been through resharing items and then offering those private discounts. And I didn't realize that that's really how you're going to make most of your sales until I did more research. So I watched a couple videos from a YouTuber called Mogi Beth, and I'll link her YouTube channel below. And one in specific video that I think was the most helpful for me, at least, on like making money on Poshmark. So I would definitely say, like, if you're thinking about it, do your research first. And that kind of leads into this next point, like, Poshmark is going to be what you make it. So, like, I think Mogi Beth has a video that she made like $100,000 on Poshmark. So, like, there's totally possibilities to do that and to make a ton of money and to be really successful on Poshmark. I don't foresee myself getting to that level, especially no time soon. But I definitely think it's possible. If you are like a stay-at-home mom or you want to do this full time, I think that there is potential to make a lot of money. But it's definitely what you make of it. Like, I only share my closet really like once a day, once every 2 or 3 days, now that I watched Mogi Beth's video and I realized like that was a way to get more people to like your items and then obviously buy them. So like for me, I just don't have the time because I work full time and have other things going on, obviously, to like constantly be sharing my closet. She says, I think she does it like 2 or 3 times a day. And she said someone with less than 200 items should share like 4 or 5 times a day. And I just don't have time to do that. So it can be a lot of work. Like, I think it definitely could turn into a full-time job, especially if you do Poshmark and like other sites as well. Like, I can totally understand how that could be someone's full-time job. And for me personally, like right now I have a full-time job. And while I am working from home, I still have a lot of work that I need to do during normal work hours. So I really don't have a ton of time during the day to constantly be doing stuff. Like I said, though, the Poshmark app is super helpful because I'll get a notification and I can respond to it really quickly because of the app and the notifications, but I don't have all day to just be sitting there responding to, requests or likes or whatever. So for right now, I just don't have the capacity to do that. I think for me, if down the line when my husband and I decide to have kids or, whatever, and I do want to maybe be home more, or I stop working, like I could foresee this being a great way to help supplement income. So I do think it offers up the opportunity to make a lot of money, and if you have the time and the dedication and you do your research, you can make a lot on it. Like, I will definitely say that. So I've made about a total of like $40 so far on Poshmark, which I think is really great. Like, I think I've definitely at least recouped how much time I put into it so far, like based on how many sales I've made. And like, I could definitely see how if I was consistently doing this and uploading things and like kind of doing what most good Poshmarkers do, how that could quickly make a decent amount of extra money on top of what I already make in my salary. The other thing I'll say is, like, I uploaded everything at one time. I went through my closet, I picked out a bunch of stuff, and then I uploaded stuff. Although I will say I did not go through my closet with its fine tooth of a comb as I probably should have, but I went through my closet and like stuff that my mom and my sister were giving away as well. So I uploaded like, I think it was 117 things, like right away. But listening to the research that I've done, actually constantly putting new items on your site is going to increase your sales. So again, it being what you make of it, if you have the time to be going to places like Goodwill or kind of finding those items like with friends or family or online or whatever, and you're constantly uploading your like things to your closet, then I think you could make even more money. So I did a second upload and I haven't sold any of those items yet, but I've gotten a lot more likes and I've been able to offer a lot more discounts and I've been able to do a lot more. So I see how like uploading again constantly puts you back up at the top of people's searches. So the people who make a lot of money are constantly uploading smaller amounts, I think, to their closet so that they're always at the top of people's feeds when they're searching for stuff. And the other thing I'll say is, like, I think I have cute clothes and I think I have fairly nice brands. But clearly some brands are going to do better than others, right? Like, there are certain things that are in style that people are going to search for, right? So, like, Tommy Hilfiger is really in style. Champion is really in style, like Lululemon. Those kind of things, I think, like, that's what people are searching for. And when you have items like that, and people are searching for your items, you're going to be up on their feed, and then they'll go to your closet and maybe find other things. I think where I'm starting at, I don't necessarily have all of the brands and the stuff that people are really looking for. So I think moving forward, like when I'm out at Goodwill or whatever, I'm going to start looking through every size and specifically looking for brands like that so that I do end up on the top of people's feeds, and then they can come to my closet and find other stuff. So I think that's just another point. Like, I uploaded everything at once because I just figured, like, let's get it all out there and see what people want. But now that I've learned more about how everything works, I think if I start uploading in just smaller batches more regularly, like maybe 2 or 3 times a week, or, you know, if I have more time, or even like once a week, then I'm more likely to get sales. So overall, I think listing on Poshmark is definitely worth it. I definitely made money off of it, but it's definitely requires a certain amount of work that you are going to probably need to think about before you start it. So that's everything I have for you for today. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you're interested in seeing other sites and how they compare to Poshmark, make sure to subscribe to my channel and stick around. I'll definitely be making those videos in the next coming months. And I hope you have a beautiful day.